This podcast is proudly sponsored by Joro Protein, a Rhode Island plant-based protein supplement company designed for athletes and adventurers. They deliver 25 grams of protein, 5 grams of BCAAs, and 18 essential vitamins and minerals. It's non-GMO, it's gluten-free, it's allergen-free, no artificial flavors, no added sugar or stevia, and it has no additional gums, thickeners, or fillers. Right now, you can get 30% off on this podcast with the code JORORODIESTRENGTH 2022, and you can find them at joroprotein.com.
This podcast is brought to you by Phase CBD. That's P-H-A-Z-E. They are a local Rhode Island company who makes and manufactures a wide-ranging variety of CBD products that are formulated specifically for athletes. It doesn't matter if you're a CrossFitter, a strongman, bodybuilder, or powerlifter. These products are for you. These products range from tinctures to seltzers to even roll-on applicants. By supporting this business, you're supporting a local Rhode Island business and you're supporting this podcast directly. Please check them out at phasesports.com.
Yeah. Well, before we start, I just want to say thank you for jumping on with us, Kelsey.
Yeah,
really
no
appreciate
problem.
it.
I have zero expectations. I'm curious what we're going to chat about.
Well, I try to do my homework the best I could.
Cool.
So I spent the day. I went through some of your older You've been on a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, I have.
Are you having podcast fatigue yet, or what?
Well, honestly, I feel like this is the first one I've done in a while.
Really?
Like, I feel like the most recent one was maybe the brute strength one, which was a while ago.
Yep, I listened to a little bit of that one. I listened to a little bit of the one with you and Ashley.
Oh, yeah, we did do that one.
And then there was the morning chalk up one where they were talking about bobsledding.
Oh yeah, it's always bobsled.
Bobsled
always comes up.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. It's like
it's cool. Yeah,
you know, it's a big transition. But yeah, no, I appreciate it, and we'll keep it to an hour. Does that work?
Cool. Yeah, works
Sweet.
for me.
Is that good for you, Tim? Or
yeah, that's cool.
Clear your schedule, Tim.
All right, sweet. So all right, we'll get into it. So what's going on, guys? Dr. Matt here, host of the Roadie Strength podcast. We got co-host Tim Ferraro on today and special guest Kelsey Kiel. What's going on? Glad to have you on. And
Glad
Oliver.
to be here. And Oliver.
And Oliver, of course.
So just give you a brief intro for those who don't know. Kelsey Kiel is a competitive CrossFitter, nutrition coach, overall awesome human being. Gotta throw that in there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So a couple accolades, and correct me if I'm wrong or I have outdated information in here, but no big deal. You've 4 times competed at the CrossFit Games team, 2022 through OBA, which is your current gym.
Correct. Yeah.
2019 through Invictus, 2018 through Invictus, and 2016 through Parallax.
Yeah.
You also qualified in 2020 individual and was on the Team USA bobsled team.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all.
it.
That's all.
That's the end of the podcast. A couple big lifts. So this is taken off CrossFit.com. So these are probably outdated, but
wrong.
Are they accurate though? Is CrossFit.com ever accurate? No.
Well,
No.
For me, I know that these are not, but you go ahead.
all right. So yeah, tell me what they are now. So squat
Okay.
370.
Oh, that's still accurate.
Let's go.
Was it?
Well, I haven't hit that in a long time.
Hey, that's all right. You hit it. Clean and jerk 275.
Oh, that is accurate. Yeah.
Okay. Solid.
Do you think they go and update this?
Maybe they do.
Because I haven't in a long time.
You have someone updating it for you.
Weird.
Snatch 210.
Oh wait, I hit 212.
Oh, let's go. 212. Just you putting the 1 pound plates on.
Oh, duh.
Yeah.
I love that. A PR is a PR.
Let's go. And then deadlift 385.
Yeah.
Solid. Oh wow, more accurate than I expected.
Someone thought we were just going in and making stats here.
Someone on Team CrossFit is helping you out.
They're
there.
like, she hit this. We gotta add it.
So I usually start these off with rapid fire questions, which I always find very entertaining. I hope
Okay.
my listeners do too. All 12 of my listeners in Rhode Island. So shout out to them. So first question, rapid fire. I made this one specifically for you. Most of them are
Uh-oh.
just templated.
Okay.
It's how's Oliver doing?
He's good. He's so good. He's a little gray. You can see I've stressed him out over the last 2 years, but he's thriving.
Love it. Next question we get is favorite coffee shop.
Ooh, that's tough. There's a coffee shop near my gym that I can walk to called Ultimo Coffee that I really like.
Say the name one more time.
Ultimo.
It sounds
Ultimo.
good.
It does.
It's good.
It just sounds good.
What's your go-to there? What do you get?
And vanilla oat milk latte.
Good.
It's like my treat.
Nice.
It's a nice little treat.
Next question we got favorite go-to, like your favorite go-to breakfast, either going out or making it at home.
Chicken and waffles.
Really?
Like if I'm going out for brunch, it's chicken and waffles.
Solid. Very southern of you.
Yeah.
I am a little more south than you guys, so
Fair. Next question we got or how about let me follow up to that one. What about
Okay.
cooking at home? What's your go-to cook home breakfast?
I do typically like a veggie egg white scramble with bacon and like some toast.
Nice.
That's what I do at home.
Sounds good. Tim, what's your favorite go-to breakfast?
Food?
Yeah.
Sandwich, breakfast sandwich. Every single time.
Next question we got favorite recent book or maybe just a book in the past that's impacted you.
This is a good one.
It's a deep question.
This is a good one.
That's tough. Well, I just finished It Ends With Us, which is like a very not deep. It's like a novel. It's like
Cool.
Is that a
you
TV
know.
show? Did they make a movie about that?
I don't think so.
Maybe I'm thinking of This Is Us or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you are.
Oh, great show.
But honestly, a book that I've read that's kind of more on like the intellectual side rather than the sleazy novel side is The Comfort Crisis. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's
No.
phenomenal.
I haven't, but I'm writing it down.
Do you
Yeah.
read or do you listen? You
I read. Yeah, I like having the physical book, even though I am listening to the Harry Potter books again.
I'm rewatching them. I'm on 6 now.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't remember any of them. So I just watch them. Everyone's like, I have no idea what's coming next.
It's amazing. I wish I could do that. Like forget it all and go back.
I know.
Just start over.
Yeah.
Kind of along those same lines. Next question, we got favorite recent podcast, or maybe some of your favorite podcasts that you like to listen to. It could be entertaining. It could be like
Okay.
educational, whatever.
I'll give you entertaining.
Okay.
Small Town Murder.
Oh
Have you ever heard of that?
no, but I like the vibe. Where's it based out
Okay,
of?
so if you like murder podcasts or shows or whatever, this is like a little different because the two guys are comedians. So they do this like whole thing. I mean, he does his research. Like he researches the town. He gives you a whole history of the town. So like the first one, you're a little bored, but you have to buy in. You have to just keep listening because he gives you a whole background on the town and then he goes into like the murder itself. And they always do like a little caveat, like if you don't think true crime and humor go together, this might not be for you. And they don't make fun of the victims or the victims' families, but they're like back and forth banter with each other is like I'm laughing out loud as I'm listening to it. And it's also like creepy and you find out about a murder. So it's cool.
Are there any is it all based on one town or is it a bunch of different towns?
No, he puts out, I mean, there's probably over 250 episodes and each one is a brand new small town. And they're like
That's cool.
2.5 hours long, these podcasts. Yeah,
Any in
it's wild.
Westerly?
What?
Any in Westerly, Rhode Island?
Do they have any like close ones that you've listened to?
Oh yeah, they have like I've heard different towns in PA. I've heard like Delaware close by, or like towns that I've heard of in other cities or other states. Squad. so cool.
Tim, they haven't caught you yet. They haven't got Westerly, Rhode Island. Next question, we got favorite Instagram. Same thing, could like accounts, like could be educational, something that comes on your feed that's like funny or you just like seeing.
Honestly, I really like that the page is called We the Urban. They like put out like inspirational things, and like they'll do like, I don't know who needs to hear this, and then you swipe and there's different like things that just, some of them I'm just like, oh, that doesn't relate to me, but almost every time something hits me, I'm like, oh yeah, that was good. So I really do like that that page.
This is cool.
They found
Are you
you. They
on
found
it?
their target market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how you click it and then you can scroll and it says different things. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That was quick. You found it that quick. Just pull it right up.
Yeah, I'm not the one talking.
Next question, we got somewhere you've traveled recently.
Mm.
Could be vacation, work, whatever.
Yeah. I've been all over the place recently, which I feel really grateful that I've been able to travel. Post CrossFit Games in August, I actually went to Indonesia. So I was in Bali for like a total of 12 days. That's including the travel, which was a really epic trip.
It's a work trip.
They all are.
I guess like, yeah, you have to like say
Yeah.
work trip, right? It was through this company actually called Trova Trip that I'm working with. And they like plan everything. They have the entire itinerary. Really, every person that goes on the trip just has to buy their flights. And once you're there, everything's planned out. And I'm doing 2 more trips next year, which I'm really pumped about too. So those will be fun. But this was my first one with them.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Where are you going next year? Can you say or no?
Yeah, in August we're gonna go to Alaska. We're doing like a whole like whitewater raft, tent camping, like glacier hiking kind of trip. And then in October of next year, we're going to South Africa. We're doing like safaris and some like really rad stuff.
That's
That's
awesome.
so awesome.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you said it's through like a company?
Yeah, they're like a trip hosting company, and they work with whatever country or destination you're going to like create these itineraries. And then as a host, I like pick what itinerary I want to do. And then I put it out to the people, and people sign up, and we go on these adventures.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So you have some control there too, which is sweet.
Yeah, I definitely get to. So like I'm in talks with them right now about like what the next trip after South Africa is going to be, which is wild.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. It's fun.
That's a great answer. I did not expect that. Those are all great places.
You were like, oh, she
Good
went
stuff.
to New York City or
I'm like,
something.
oh, she did a CrossFit thing in New York City. Like, no, I went to Bali and then I'm going to Alaska. That's sick. Next question. I've taken it out. I'm putting it back in. I think Tim doesn't like it, but I put it back in. Celebrity crush. Now this could be like a CrossFit crush. This could be like someone who you just admire in the sport, essentially. But if you don't have an answer, we can just skip
Can
it.
I plead the fifth?
You can plead the fifth. You can plead the fifth. We can move on to the next one.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. I'll say Ashley Wozni. How about that?
Love it. Great
I love
answer.
her.
That's your teammate, right?
That's my girl.
Hell yeah. All right. Next one we got, and this also could be a bad question because I'm not sure where your sponsorships are at with this, but favorite sneaker.
Oh, I got 0 sponsorships in the shoe department. I actually really like working out in my Vans. And that's been like this whole topic of conversation this past season. But that's my preferred shoe to like Metcon in.
Sweet.
Yeah, they gave us the Noble runners at the games, and I really like those like really cushy ones for running. And I've been wearing my like rad ones when I have to climb a rope because they're really solid. Like they don't tear easily like the Vans do. So I'm all over the map.
Kels, I bought these because I always saw you guys work out in them. I
They're
wear them
so
every time.
comfortable.
Yeah, I squatted in them today.
Yeah.
Best.
PR'd my snatch in those. Like,
Are Vans the new CrossFit shoe?
Vans, if you're listening.
Have they said anything to you guys yet?
But
Have they said anything to you guys at all or no?
no, I like talked with one girl that like works for Vans. They really like just aren't interested. They like have their niche and they're just like, I'll send you some free shoes, but that's all.
That's good
You're like,
enough.
fine, I'll
Like,
take
okay,
them.
I'll take the
Fine, I'll
free shoes.
Nice. All right. Next question for last of the rapid fire.
Okay.
We got favorite movement, like CrossFit movement, exercise, maybe least favorite. You can say that too.
That's tough because in my head, like any lift is like my favorite because I like to lift barbells. But I'm really loving getting better at like gymnastics and my running. So like lately when I see that programmed, I know it's going to be like a hard day, but like a really fulfilling day. So I kind of split it there.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. I like that.
Thanks. Today was
All right.
really hard, if you're wondering.
Say it again.
Because today was really hard.
What did you do today?
I did a lot of burpees and a lot of ring muscle ups
Oh.
and legless rope climbs. So just a lot of stuff I'm really bad at.
Solid. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
So we'll transition gears a little bit here. We'll get into we don't have to talk about it too much, or I mean we can talk about it as much as you want to, but a little bit of your background, coming from collegiate soccer, and then how that transition happened into the sport of CrossFit.
I graduated college and was coaching soccer and playing soccer. And I actually broke my ankle in like an adult pickup league. And
Nice.
that was like the first time I was like on crutches, out, like down for the count. And when I finally was able to like actually exercise again, my sister had come back from being overseas. She's in the Navy. And she was stationed in Africa. And when she came back, we were locally around here in PA, and she was like, come to this CrossFit class with me. I was just like, no. I resisted her very hard. But then I went to the class, and the workout was hellen, and I scaled it like crazy. And honestly, I was so bad at it that I was like, damn, I need to go back and do this again. Because I like double band on my pull-ups, like light kettlebell, stopped on my 400-meter runs because I was dying. Like it was almost like it like relit that competitive side of me a little bit. But like even then, even going into like the next year, probably if you had told me I'd be where I am right now, I would just like have laughed at you because I was doing it to like offset all of the like eating and partying that I was doing. And then I actually moved to the city of Philadelphia. I was out in the suburbs then. And I had to take some time off because I had to pay rent and I couldn't afford to go to a CrossFit gym. And I finally joined a new gym after a couple months. And it just like, that was when the 2015 Open happened. And when Dave Castro programmed the clean and jerk, like part of the first workout or whatever, like you had to do CrossFit and then you got to lift. I did really bad at the CrossFit, but I got second in my region on the clean and jerk. I was like, okay, well, like I'm stacking up strength wise against some of these girls. If I can figure out the CrossFit side, maybe I could be decent at this. And forever it was just like regionals is the goal kind of thing when there was regionals. But I switched gyms and I kind of put myself in new situations. And that's when I met my teammates from 2016. Rachel owns CrossFit Parallax and is one of my best friends in the entire world. And I was put in a room with her and Kelly and the guys, and it was like, holy shit, we're going to do this team thing. And I had to get decent at CrossFit really fast. So that was kind of like the jump start to actually competing. We were like, let's make regionals. And Rachel was like, no, we're going to the games. And for like Kelly and I, we just, we were still working on stringing our chest to bar pull-ups together. Like we were just like, we're like, we gotta get better here. So I kind of put my head down and, started taking care of my nutrition and working on all that. And it just kind of like took off.
That's great. So you came in already strong, right? Was that when you did the clean and jerk and then you were second in the region, were you training lifts and CrossFit like a lot before and you just came in with just like strength?
So I feel like I came in, I was a big girl, so like I was naturally just kind of stronger in general, but like in college, we would squat and deadlift, but I never learned how to clean jerk or snatch. That was all when I started at that gym out in the suburbs, was like learning how to do those movements. Um, and then when I switched gyms leading up to that open was just kind of like learning how to move my body properly. And I would like lift a lot because I loved to lift and clearly didn't do enough of the CrossFit going into that open. But I think that I came in relatively strong just because of like the squatting and the deadlifting and like strict pressing and stuff, but had never trained the Olympic lifts or anything.
So at what point in time were you like, before you switched gyms, were you like, all right, like I'm gonna take this pretty serious?
It was like May of 2015 that I did like a local comp and I got first. And there was no like ring muscle ups, or there was no like they
Was it your
had
first
Diane.
competition ever?
No, it was like I had done it was my first individual one ever. So I think that's actually right after that competition was when I hired my now boss, who's as my nutrition coach, and started dialing that in. And then I had actually kind of hurt my back in that competition, and just like all the stars aligning here, the guy I was seeing for my back was like right down the street from a gym in New Jersey, like right over the bridge. And I had reached out to the owner of that gym who was at the local comp, like with a couple competitive athletes. So I was like, hey, these people are better than me. Can I come drop in at your gym? And he was all for it. So that was kind of when the whole transition happened, that I started going to that gym. And then that opened a door for me to meet Rachel, and it all connects now. Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Do you think that's because I hear that a lot, like someone who's really trying to be competitive, do you think that's true? Like if you want to go to the next level, you should kind of surround yourself with athletes that are trying to push. Like if you're in a gym where everyone's kind of just more of like a lifestyle family gym, do you think it's tougher to go be super competitive?
So that was kind of that first gym in Philly that I was at, was like I had another guy with me who was pretty good, but I felt like I wasn't really being pushed. And so to your question, I think if you're already at an elite level, being in that kind of gym, you've already trained your mental that you can like push yourself. But I was such a newbie that like I needed people around me to push me a little bit more. And one of my favorite quotes is, if you're the smartest in the room, you're in the wrong room. And I put that like, if you're the strongest, if you're the most fit, if you're like you can replace smartest with anything. And I feel like I, like to this day, will chase being not the best in the room hands down over anything else, and to be able to improve.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
Great.
cool. I like that. That's a great answer. And you said this is like around the same time you really got your like nutrition dialed in too, right? When you
Yeah.
started getting competitive. What
Yeah.
was it like, some of the big changes? You said you had a nutrition coach at that time, or?
Yeah, so right after that competition, when I kind of hurt my back, I had like been counting my own macros a little bit just based off of the book that my boss had written at the time. And I then was like, okay, I'm going to be out for a little bit with this back. Like now's going to be a really good time to dial in my nutrition, like with a coach, with someone who knows what they're doing. So I hired her, and it was really just, I mean, I didn't know anything about nutrition or CrossFit or any of this, like leading up to or through college. I wish I did. Thinking back, wish I did. but it was really just figuring out, like, I was a little bit psycho at first, like counting out my almonds, like, you know how people can get, but like I saw like a lot of results pretty quickly. And yeah, so I just like started counting and actually like tracking and seeing what I was putting into my body. I also stopped drinking as much as I was drinking before, so that helped. Yeah.
Not ideal for performance
Yeah,
or
not
recovery.
ideal. Your recovery will take.
Yeah. What kind of along those same lines, you say like, oh, I wish I had known this back in like when I was playing soccer in college.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there was a lot of things like you did wrong or mistakes you made or like the way you approached it?
In college.
Yeah.
It was just like nowhere on my radar. Like
Mm,
yeah, I guess like growing up or throughout school, I just didn't get the knowledge behind like nutrition. And
sure.
I don't know if that was just because of the schools that I went to or whatever it was, but I also, I did play soccer in college, but I always say like I was a really mediocre soccer player. Like Division 3, like we were better drinkers than we were soccer players for sure. And I don't know, it was just like, yeah, it's hard to like think back to even college because I was so just worried about like I probably underfueled myself because I was just like drinking a lot. I was
Mm.
comparing myself to all these like soccer players and like wanting to like, I don't know.
No, that
So
makes sense. That makes
yeah, I
sense.
definitely wish I had just more of a knowledge base when it came to that in college for sure.
And how is so you started getting competitive, you work with a nutrition coach. Have you seen your ability to dial in and kind of like change and shift like from then to now? Is it still continuing to evolve?
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
always like, even with my clients today, I'm like 7 years into this and I'm still learning things about my body, about my like mindset around food and nutrition and all of that. Like it's always evolving. Which is kind of the cool thing about just, life in general is you're always improving and changing and adapting. So definitely holds true to nutrition and fueling for performance and all of that too. And when you like get older, things change and all that stuff. So
When did
100%.
you start to talk to your boss about working for her? Like, what was that like?
yeah, that was so if you guys have ever worked with a nutrition coach or if you've ever had nutrition clients, you know that like you're helping them with their nutrition, but you're also kind of like a therapist. And like obviously we know our scope of practice, but Chrissy, who's my boss now, was definitely hearing things from me other than just about my food in that week. So she knew I was kind of unhappy in the job that I was in at the time and how I was just like working really hard at this CrossFit thing, but also working a full-time job and all of that. And she had this, it was all, again, the stars aligning, but she had an opportunity to have a bunch of clients um, from this like other company. And she pretty much in like leading into the 2016 games had said, hey, after the games, do you want to move out to Reno? Because she's based in Reno, Nevada. And she said, do you want to like try to start this company with me?
Cool.
And I said, yeah, let's fucking do it. So that was kind of like a one of the a really big shift in my life that I, kind of took a chance and um, she moved me across the country and I like mentored with her for about a year. Um, and I remember it was like this huge deal to me when we went from 75 to 150 clients. We are like, we doubled. But it was pretty cool and now the company is crazy. It's thriving.
How many clients do you have today, personally?
Under the whole umbrella of Black Iron, I think it's like almost 2,000, and we
Wow.
have like 15 coaches, and there's all these amazing like sub programs out of just the lifestyle program, which is pretty epic.
That's
Yeah,
sweet.
I was doing a little research on there. Like you guys have like options for like vegan athletes and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
anything you need. Yeah. That's
yeah, it
cool.
was cool. Chrissy and I she, if you're like upper management for Black Iron, she kind of made a hard rule that you have to live in Reno. So there's a bunch of them that live out there, they're like, they're the uppers. But she knew that, I've put a lot of heart and soul into the company, and she wanted to retain me as a coach. And I'm so grateful for that, because we kind of built, it was actually right before COVID that we built the performance nutrition track. So now I'm the director of the performance nutrition like subsection, and I have like 10 coaches that are performance coaches. And it's really just, it's
Wow.
honestly for any kind of athlete, like any sport or activity, outdoor adventure, like anything you might be doing that you want to really focus on the food around your performance, we'll have that coach for you. So it was really
That's so
cool to see
cool.
that grow too.
Very cool.
Yeah. But we have like pregnancy and postpartum. We have Thrive, which is like focusing not on tracking macros, more of just like intuitive eating. And then we have our lifestyle and all of that. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, that's
Your
my
take-
jam. I hate
What's your
I
take
hate
on,
tracking macros.
for the past couple weeks, I've been doing steak and fruit. Come on, it's great. What's your take on it? And I'll mix in a veggie here and there, but I've never been a big veggie guy.
A little bit of bison.
Mm.
She's like, I gotta bite my tongue right now.
Tim, you're funny. Do you feel good?
Yeah.
Okay. Then if it's working for you.
Today was great. I feel good.
Oh, that's amazing.
So kind of along the same lines, I know you have the sponsorship from Podium, which is super
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
What are you taking, or what do you recommend for like supplements right now? Or what are you taking?
Yeah, it's so funny. I'm like, whenever I have a client that asks me, I always say like I would rather eat than supplement.
Totally.
So like through Podium, I'll do a protein shake with their whey, and I'll do their BCAAs, like their hydro and salt, to change up just drinking water and get some electrolytes in when I'm training. But as far as like micronutrients and that kind of thing, I always say to eat your vegetables.
It's a good call.
And your like nutrient dense foods to get those like vitamins and minerals that like, I think there was this trend for a while of the like greens and reds. And while those are fine as long as they're from like a clean company, I think that people think that like, oh, I can just toss some greens in a drink and that's good. Whereas like really you should be eating those greens and that kind of thing before trying to supplement. But so I'm not like a big supplementer, only because I really like to eat. So I'd rather eat my 25 grams of protein than have a shake. But a lot of the times, time and schedule and everything like that, like today I went straight through my whole training session and needed a pick me up. So I did a protein shake with coconut water to get carbs and protein in. So I
Sounds
think it
good.
depends. Yeah.
Do you do creatine at all or no?
So the Fit Aids that I drink have creatine
Oh,
in them,
nice.
the RX ones. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Don't
the
tell my
RX
nutrition
ones.
coach I should probably be taking creatine, but I don't.
All
Other
right,
than
we won't tell him.
Yeah,
So you have a nutrition coach yourself?
oh yeah, big time. Coaches need coaches, you know.
Yeah.
True.
True. Very true.
Yeah.
Who's doing are you working out mostly with a team at this point? Are you guys like getting ready for the upcoming season?
It's a great question. So I just celebrated my year anniversary with my coach, which is really exciting.
Awesome. Congrats.
Like just about a week ago now. And when I moved back to Philly and I stopped bobsledding, it was kind of up in the air. I didn't really know what I was going to do. I had done like a few things at OBA, so I knew the gym. It's really nice. It's like
Looks nice.
really big. There's a huge one of those big ass fans. There's air conditioning, heat. I love the gym, and
Looks
it's
nice, yeah.
like clean. And so I walked in there And I was like, hey, I'm gonna get an open gym membership. And literally the first day I walked in there, Joey Tortora, my teammate, like, Kelsey Kiel, what's your plan for the season? Like, I literally just stopped, like, I didn't know what my plan was gonna be. And it took me a while to decide that that was what we were gonna do. We had kind of like chatted a little bit with Nick, my other teammate, but we needed another girl. But back to the coach thing, Joey is coached by my coach. And like walking in that gym, I knew that from my past experiences and going forward, my stance is that like having a training partner is almost like you can't put a price on that. And I knew that if Joey and my training could link up from time to time, having the same coach, then I would really benefit from that. Just knowing myself as an athlete, like we talked about, like being pushed and that kind of thing. So I decided to go with the same coach as him, and it was such a good decision because he's brilliant.
That's awesome. What's your
Yeah.
coach's name?
I call him Coach L. His
Cool.
full name's like Elkana Senevois. He's French.
We'll call him Coach L.
Yeah, Coach L.
Coachella.
He's through Brute Strength.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you guys starting to train like for open at this point, or is it still kind of?
Yeah, I feel like it's so funny. I was rowing the other day and someone came up to me like, "What are you training for?" I'm like, I gotta keep breathing harder. I'm gonna be way behind. So I feel like for me, it's like never ending, kind of
Yeah.
like just training those weaknesses. But Elle and I actually talked about me not competing until the open, which I think for him it's just like so that we don't have to like build and taper like based off of a competition. I just recently got asked to do a team of 3 at Wadapalooza, which I am gonna do. It's just for fun, and it's just those 2 days. It's Saturday, Sunday, so I don't think it'll be too detrimental to my training. So I'm excited about that. But otherwise, yeah, just training to burpee faster in the open.
Nice. No, that's a good point. Like there almost is like no off season in CrossFit. It's just like year round. You always are training.
I feel like the games just ended, and then was a qualifying competition like 2 weeks ago? Is that right?
For the games?
There was like some competition. I saw a few people were competing at I don't know if it was like a qualifying competition for the games. I was like, already?
Oh no, not for like this. So the actual official season won't start till February. But in this downtime, there's so many competitions. Like I was actually just out in Vegas because I was meant to compete at the thing called the Zalos Games. And it's just they're like trying to put these competitions out there and people can go and one, get more experience competing, but also win money. Like people can, if this is their full-time thing, they can make money.
You can plead the fifth on this if you want. But is there ever a time where like there's a local competition or somewhat of a big competition and they'll be like, hey, we'll give you like $5,000 if you come? Like they'll pay you to go. Is that a thing? Plead the fifth, maybe?
For me personally, no. I am also not a, huge individual games athlete. So maybe for some of them, but that's insider info that I don't have.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
I feel like you're right there though. I feel like tomorrow could happen.
Thank you.
So let's maybe talk about recovery a little bit. What are you doing as far as like, I know you've always been really good about like getting enough sleep, like every night. Do you have some sort of like do you have some sort of tracker you're using right now for that, or?
Well, I wear a Whoop. I feel like I've worn a Whoop forever.
Right.
I always say it like knows me really well just because I've literally been wearing it since like 2017. And yeah, so I track my like sleep and recovery that way. people have asked me actually recently, I had a client ask me, like, do you adjust your training based off of like your recovery score that next day? And for me personally, like, typically not. I'll usually get like a super low recovery if I go out one night or like drink some alcohol or whatever it might be. And I'm pretty strategic about when I do those things. So like if I go out and I stay up late and don't get enough sleep and have a few drinks, it's usually a Saturday night where then it's a rest day on Sunday. Um, I try not to like jeopardize my own self because training's hard enough for me already that like I don't, that's why I do prioritize my sleep and, you know, my recovery like that so much.
No, totally. Yeah, I had the Whoop forever and I just let it expire. I think I'm gonna switch to Garmin next. And
But I also
I don't
wear
know
a
if do
Garmin,
you wear Garmin too? I
but I
heard
don't
there.
like use it. So I don't
Yeah,
know, like,
They
I don't
just
know.
look cool too.
I
It
like
just
to
like
know the
has the
time.
time.
I'd
Look
like
good.
to know the time.
Has the time and it like also gives me steps, which like I don't totally care about, but
Yeah,
it's always interesting to see.
do you ever like compare? Because Garmin, do you wear it at night too? The Garmin,
Yeah, but I never look at the sleep. I
you
don't
never
know.
look at like this with the sleep compare. That'd be interesting.
No.
Maybe
Yeah,
it's like
maybe
a
I
self
could
study.
start doing that.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, I will.
Um, Same along the lines of recovery. What are you doing for? Do you do any like cold or like heat therapy or stuff like that?
Not really. I live on a heating pad. I just love how it feels on my back all the time. Um, I have I have a pair of Normatec boots that I'm in pretty often, um, with like the Hypervolt and that kind of thing. But I go and I like get body work done pretty regularly as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
It must be so nice. You're like,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's just such a relaxing time. That's great. I feel like you always were really good at prioritizing recovery. Like when you train in Boston, you guys would get down, but you were always really good at recovery. And then when you went to Vegas and then you did the bobsled thing, you were always very good, even when you would post about recovery. And I
mhm.
think you make a good point with like the whoop just knowing you. Like 7 years. Impressive. Like that's impressive.
I mean, I don't wear it all the time, but I wear
But
it
still, like
a
it
lot.
understands you enough, I feel like, to the point
Yeah,
where it gives you the proper strain, the proper recovery, like all
yeah,
that.
yeah,
It's cool.
yeah. I think it really does know me pretty well. I got a dog adjusting here. Can you see me?
Do you do anything along the lines of like so you do body work, is that through a masseuse or do you do like PT, chiro, acupuncture, anything like that as well?
Yeah, I do. I have a chiro that I love. He's a
Nice.
magician, but he also does like cupping and ART and Grafton as well.
Sweet.
And then I have an acupuncture here in Philly that I also really like to go see. And then every once in a while, I'll treat myself to a massage. You know,
Nice. You hit it at all angles.
yeah.
You don't miss a thing.
And I get my nails done. No, I'm just
There we
kidding.
go. And how about the hair?
Been a while,
Nice,
but
looking good. All right. Awesome. All right, so next transition. If you posted something, I think it was the other day or maybe like a week ago, just regarding kind of like mindset.
Mm,
And I know just training can be tough, especially if you're like going through a rut or like you're hitting plateaus or you don't feel like you're pushing, especially if this is like, okay, I want to really push the next level. So what are some things or some strategies that you do to kind of maybe like get you out of that rut or like keep you moving forward, even on the days like you don't feel like training?
I'm so curious. What did I post?
I don't even, it was something with the sunshine or a sunflower or something like that.
Sunflower in it,
They
repost.
keep moving
All
forward.
right,
And I'm like, yeah,
repost.
let's go. Let's
Yeah.
keep moving forward.
I don't know. I feel like a big one for me is, and this is actually kind of new to my life in the last little while, probably since starting at OBA with the training partners that I have and everything, is not like tying so much of my like self-worth in my athletic performance and my abilities. Because I think I did struggle with that a lot. It with training in the past and then also with bobsled, it was like I felt like if I didn't do this or that, or didn't hit that number, or, you know, this girl beat me or whatever it is, like I almost tied like my mental of like how I was as a human being into those results. And I don't know if it's just being around, you know, these super supportive people who I know will love me even if I fail a snatch at the Granite Games or whatever it is, like or it's all the therapy that I've been doing, like whatever it is, like
Helps.
I feel like there's I do CrossFit. I'm not like, that's not my sole identity as like a CrossFitter or a bobsledder or whatever it was or is. So I think that's a big one, especially on those days that like maybe my coach will have, hey, I want you to hit sub 3 on every single interval, and I don't. And it's like, well, shit. Okay, there's so many factors that go into that, but it's not because I suck as a human being. Like, and I think
Right.
being able to separate that within these last, you know, this last year and a half probably, has been a really big mindset shift for me.
I think it's a really good point. I think it's a really good point.
That's huge. So you obviously know him. Someone was saying something just along the same lines as you. I interviewed Justin Wright over at Invictus.
Yeah.
And he was kind of saying this because he was obviously very competitive in the CrossFit game scene, and he took a break from it for a little while, and then he was just trying to come back to it, and he was talking about that, and it was the same thing as like competition is great, but like there can be like toxic like aspects to it, and you have to kind of figure out how to like separate those like for the good from the bad. I'm paraphrasing. He said it much better than that,
Yeah.
but along the same lines as that. So that's kind of cool to hear you say that.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing there.
And I do think that, you know, competing and doing everything like this is a lot of people's identities, especially if they've like kind of grown up into the space. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily wrong, but for me personally, like it was wrong for me to tie my identity into that because it was so black or white, like you suck or you're great kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that for me, it was creating that separation of identity or self-worth and performance. I think that was huge for me.
That's
How'd you do it?
awesome.
Did you journal? Podcast?
Oh, I journal every morning.
Yeah.
No, journaling's huge. I mean, it gets your thoughts out on the paper, like time to
It's
reflect.
great. I have a journal actually, so I never feel like I'm really good at journaling, good at it, like whatever that means. But I found the journal, and you guys will now get a targeted Instagram ad. But it's called Inside Out, and it's like it was a targeted ad for me, and I clicked it, and it's like it gives you a prompt every single day of like it'll just ask you a question, and I've found that I like will answer the question. Sometimes I won't even answer the question. I'll already have stuff that I'm like, I need to get this out. But a lot of the times I'll just answer it, and it'll kind of like bleed into other things that I want to like get out. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, interesting.
So it's an app that you get a text notification.
Sorry, no, it's a journal. I was saying you're gonna get a targeted Instagram ad now for it. You're gonna see it.
I might even just seek it out and check it out and see what's going on with it.
Seriously.
No, that's really cool. I mean, just from doing a little bit of research for this podcast, like listening to some of your most recent ones, I think that was kind of like the common theme. Like people are asking you how you're doing. You're like, I'm really good right now. It's like, I'm like,
it was
that's
cool.
great.
Like coming back to the sport, it just like felt different. It felt like I was having more fun. I am having more fun than I have ever had doing it, which I think, I mean, all of us at OBA, like on the team, and even just the people that I train around, like we say we're having fun no matter what.
That's awesome.
That's it.
That's important, especially for a team.
Yeah.
Sam Pascal, our friend, we talked to him today. He asked us to ask you a question. Tim, do you remember what it was?
No. Sorry. Ace is about to jump off my bed.
No. I said I promise I'd ask, but now I've forgotten what it was. So now I feel bad.
I don't know. I don't
I
remember.
think it
So
was something along the lines of competing for the the open or something like that this year. But sorry, Sam, I let you down.
Kels, I have a question.
Okay.
For someone that's looking to like become competitive in CrossFit,
Mm.
what is the biggest thing that you would say to them in the sense of, is it like where they train and how they train? Is it nutrition? Like, what's the biggest thing for someone that wants to get competitive in CrossFit that just goes to like a normal gym? You know, you have like when you started, you went to your normal gym and
hmm
you're the best athlete there.
That's hard because like part of me wants to like I have people come to me before as nutrition clients and they want to be super competitive in the sport, but they work a 9 to 5 and they can maybe work out for an hour in the morning and an hour at night. And I think that what people don't see is that like I can't speak for everyone, but I go to the gym at 9 and I'm training. I'm not doing a Metcon for 2 hours, but I'm there till 11. I take a 2 hour break. I do my work, as much work as I can, or I have an appointment or whatever. And then I'm there from like 1 to 4:30. And it's like the time commitment to be competitive. I think people underestimate that sometimes. Um, but I think that all of those things, like your training environment, getting a personalized one-on-one coach, I think is huge as well, because obviously a gym's general pop programming can be super beneficial, but I think that that can only take you so far.
Yeah.
Having like a one-on-one coach is huge. And then nutrition, getting your
You
food
think that
dialed
there's
in.
people that can get there that follow like Mayhem Compete or something?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that some of those higher level programs that are kind of not specialized, not one-on-one, are pretty good. But I still do think that like that can only take you so far. And it depends on how far that person is trying to go and all of that.
Yeah. I feel like also too, you say you're at the gym until 4:30, right? But how many times a week do you have an appointment for body work or like you come
Yeah,
home and you do work, right? So I feel like
yeah,
it's not just the training that you have to commit to, it's your
absolutely.
life.
I come home, I sit on that couch and I cook my dinner and I'm on my laptop then again for a couple hours and then I go upstairs and I read and I go to bed. That's why I'm very, very committed to my bedtime routine. Because I got to do it again in the morning.
Hey, that's a great routine.
Yeah.
So let's say there's someone who wants to be competitive. Do you
Me.
also you also feel like there's just some people genetically, no matter what they do, it's just not gonna happen. Like they could put like I mean, because my example I think about is like the NFL.
Mm,
Like there's gonna be, if I don't care how bad you want to be, how hard you want to work at being like a wide receiver, like
right.
some people just have it, some people don't. Like
Right.
I don't know. That's that.
Different. The
What's
NFL's
that?
so different. Yeah, I feel like the NFL is so different.
Okay, go.
Well,
It's up for
I
debate.
think
I
that's,
get what you're saying.
It's up
yeah,
for debate. Yeah.
I do think that there is a factor for that because
Mm,
I genetically,
mm,
I'm never going to be 140 pound, 5'5". Like I may have just thrown out those stats, but that's what I envisioned Tia to look like. Like she's smaller and lighter. Um, I'm I'm never gonna be that size. And it's so funny because I texted my coach programmed something or whatever, and I like PR'd my 5K and I sent it to him and he's like, that's pretty good. Like said something like, well, you're never going to be good at running, but we're going to work at you not being bad. It's like, okay.
totally.
That's all
So,
that matters.
like, genetically, my legs are just so heavy. He said something like, if you can squat clean 280, you're not going to run a sub 5 mile or whatever he said.
Right, right.
It was funny at the time. But I think that that's kind of proof that, like, genetically, I'm not going to win an endurance event at the CrossFit Games. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
But that's what's nice about CrossFit too, is because the only event isn't going to be that. You have everything else combined.
That's a good point.
We're
Yeah.
testing everything, which is cool.
I feel like you had probably the best genetic advantage in terms of like coming into the sport with strength. Let me know if you agree with this or disagree with this, but I feel like people that come in with a background or are just naturally strong versus someone that comes in that did gymnastics or I don't know. I just feel like if you have the strength piece figured out or have it down where you can compete, kind of like you did when you came second, you can work on gymnastics, you can work on running, you can work on all that stuff, and it's not as hard as trying to build strength, right?
I do think strength building, and I'd say that's my nutrition clients. Like, it just takes time. Like, that's the one that takes the longest. So I do think I agree with you with that. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So let's start to end with we got a couple more questions just to finish up the wrap up questions. So first one, it might catch you off guard, so you can skip it if you want, but or not. So so what I ask is, what's the highway that you're near in Philadelphia? Are you in you're in Philly, right?
Yeah.
Are you in the city?
I-95. What?
You in the city of Philly? That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, 95?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
I'm also gonna let my dog out, but
go for it. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So the way I word it is and this is from Tim Ferriss, I stole it from him, but you get the billboard in Philly on I-95, whoever like injury lawyer it is, you get their billboard for the day, and you get something to sell it, basically to say to like your city or your people, like could be a favorite quote, mantra, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm putting you on the spot, so we can skip it if we need
to.
Picture of Oliver.
Oh, what'd you say?
Picture of Oliver splooting.
It's just Oliver's back legs, him in his little jacket today. No. Well, this has like kind of zero to do with what we were talking about pretty much this whole podcast. But I love being in Philadelphia because I just feel like we have such pride of our city. Like, it also helped that like the Phillies were doing really well, the Eagles are doing really well, the friggin' soccer team was doing really well. But like these last couple of weeks, the Philly pride has just been like off the charts, and you feel the city, like the city literally feels different lately. So I don't know, I would do something about just like being with my people.
Philly pride.
Yeah.
Was the guy who was eating a rotisserie chicken a day, was that from Philly?
Yeah, that's Philly too.
Do you see that too? That was unreal. Is he still going?
Philly people are epic. I don't know.
I hope so. That was a great trend. And then last question basically is just anything coming up that you're excited about, or anything that maybe you want to plug or shout out, anything like that.
I don't know. I don't really think so. I mean, Black Iron Nutrition's having a New Year's challenge soon, which will be really fun if people are looking to figure out their nutrition. But yeah, really, I'm just kind of living the dream.
Love it.
Working out, trying to get fit.
Sweet.
Nothing better than that.
I'm better than that.
Literally. That's a dream life right there.
Awesome. Well, we'll wrap up with that. So thank you so much, Kelsey. Loved having you on. Great conversation.
We didn't talk about bobsled at all.
We didn't talk about bobsled. That's all right. You got plenty of other podcasts about bobsled.
Yeah, they could just go listen to it. I was amazed. I was like, when is this going to afford bobsled?
Hey, you know.
I love it.
That's all right. Yeah.
More
cool.
relevant.
So, all right, we'll sign off, but I'll stop the recording, but we'll stay on for just a second.